Hello, Tuesday Tea Break Talks. It's time to listen to some of the ramblings of me, Nick Truman, your host. I'm going to be talking about some exciting things today. If you haven't already, I'm going to stop shouting this out, actually. I'm going to say it now just so I don't sound really, really vague. But go and check out Growth Summit. It's happening in 1st of September, 2026. It's going to be going live. It's basically a conference, a show, an expo, whatever you want to call it. But everything's going live in one single moment. We're going to try and, we don't know what the record is. We couldn't really work it out, put a number on it, but we're going to try and break or even set the record for the most Shopify related content in one place at one time ever. And then we will have that as a benchmark. And then come 1st of September 2027, we're going to launch a bigger one. And there'll be some stuff going on throughout the year as well. So if you want to get access to all of that content, I'm not going to be on most of it, which should be a hallelujah moment for a lot of you guys. You can just hear from the experts. Some of it's going to be apps talking about how they develop things, brands sharing their stories. It's going to be super exciting. And we are currently signing up speakers, sponsors, and brands and lots of other stuff. And we're starting to get the first few bits of content coming in the next few weeks to put on the platform. We're building a platform for it. It's super exciting. It's quite scary, these things, because it was all my idea. And now thousands of you are sitting here listening to me say, hey, go and do this. It's going to be fun. And we're possibly going to launch a bit of a community off the back of it as well. We launched something a while ago. It just didn't really take off. But this felt like a better opportunity to launch a little community. So let's have a look then. So this week, we are talking about, and one of my lovely friends, you know, your friends are always your biggest critics. One of them said to not use the word so in the entire episode because he listened to two of them and I kept saying so. We're going to talk about data today. I'm going to have a little ramble about data. I've got 9 points of things you should be looking at. And then I got 1, 2, 3. I didn't number these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 recent examples of things we learned about clients of ours where actually quite a big statistical change needs to happen or behavioral change to change the data based on the bit of data that we saw. This is the third thing I'm recording today, and I've had 2 coffees, so this will not take long whatsoever. If I'm talking too quick, just slow the thing down. I'm absolutely buzzing. It's only a Monday, so kicking the day off and the week off in a good style. Let's look at some of the bits of data you guys, I think you should be looking at, and some of the things that our clients either look at regularly, and I agree with it, or don't look at enough, and I don't agree with it. They should look at these things more. First one is, how often do you find yourself in meetings or reviewing your business data on Shopify and you talk about revenue? How exciting, revenue, how much money's come in. There's a problem with revenue, and that is that it doesn't include the costs. So you need to look at gross profit and net profit. And those are 2 very, very important things to look at. Taking that a step further though, and I mentioned this a bit on the show before, we're working with some clients now where they've got their cost of product data in Shopify, which means something very, very exciting. We can see that one product might have an 80% margin. So if we sell it for $100, we make 80 as profit, 20 covers the price of the product. And out of the 80, that's where our margin, either for agency fees or for marketing costs, or there'll be a set part of that for running the business at your end as well. But that's an 80% margin. And in the same business, you'll have products that have like a 20 or 30% margin, which is a completely different ballgame. So why then? Why are you running campaigns with a return on ad spend, just one flat cost? You could make more profit if you spent more acquiring customers or acquiring sales from the products that have bigger margins, and you're probably spending too much then on some of your products that don't have a good margin. So in terms of running a business in a smarter way, you start to build your campaigns out based on margins. There's one small problem there is if you have the same product, so say it's a pair of trainers, you have one pair of trainers with a 20% margin and one pair of trainers with an 80% margin. The problem then is you don't really want 2 campaigns on Google, both targeting, I'm going to be really kind of ignorant here and say the keyword trainers. You want to have a bit more of a breakdown in the campaigns than just that. But the point being is you should be optimizing campaign performance to profit. And actually, if you've got an 80% profit margin on something, go and get 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 ROI on that. And then when you've got a 20% margin, well, you need a 5-to-1 to break even on just ad cost, agency cost, and then the cost of product. That's break even. That's not very exciting. But I want to talk about the second metric in a second. That might still be profitable for you longer term. But we've got to work these things out. We need to do a bit of maths and work out what we're going to do with this stuff. So try and focus on profit, or what we call POAS, profit on ad spend, not return on ad spend. Again, there's a smarter way to run it. And just having one blanket ROI target for the whole account unless that is actually like, if you bought material in and everything's made of silver, then fine. Like you do have a blanket, so it's fine. The second one, though, which might affect that, is you might make a loss on that first order, and that might be okay. But I did a bit of again, I called it a rant on my Friday episode the other day. It's a bit of a rant the other day to say that a lot of businesses, they don't have a metric or a target for lifetime value. There's no sort of, people are buying 1.2 times, from us in total, and we need to make that 1.5, which means if it's 1.5, as an average, half our customers buy a second time from us. Fantastic. Which means you just boosted your entire ROI or POI, profit on investment. You've just managed to scale that up quite significantly across all channels. So lifetime value, like you want to increase the average orders per user. So I say it again because I totally mumbled that. Increase the average orders per user, the average number of orders. You want people ordering from you again and again and again. If your delivery costs are quite high and you offer free delivery, then maybe you want them to actually order slightly less, but increase the AOV. So instead of making 10 orders of one product, you want 2 orders of 5 products each. It's more profitable for you, which means you could sell it as a bundle or a set or something to try and get those guys to do that more often. Third bit of data. Every time I mention this to clients at the moment, they say like, what customer cohort analysis? It's called the customer cohort analysis in Shopify. Everyone should be familiar with it. I work so often in my agency, mostly focus on acquisition here. I'm going to give you an example of where a client thought they were working on acquisition and weren't, which is going to be it's going to be in my recent examples without mentioning any client or brand names. Number 4, we get to number 4. So really, really important on this. But you want to look at that customer cohort analysis. We don't look at it often because we work in acquisition on PPC and SEO. So you want to look at it from the business wide. You also want to then try and make some filters, and Sidekick, Shopify's AI, is very, very good in the back end of Shopify helping with this. You want to make some filters to then see it just by PPC, just by SEO. The thing with Shopify Analytics is the attribution's pretty rubbish. It thinks everybody's coming direct. GA4 gives you a much truer value if you've set it up correctly and you've got your cookies working correctly. And yes, we're going to do an episode very, very soon on cookies. How exciting. It's a face-to-face recording, which I am doing next week. So that'd be very, very exciting. Cool. So I just got a message from my team just checking if it's important or not. It's not. I can get back to them in a minute. Check performance. Number 4, check performance in GA4. Product view. Then add to cart. So how many product views do you get per add to cart? How many add to carts do you get per begin checkout? How many begin checkouts do you get to each checkout complete? You've got to set GA4 up correctly. It's got to be firing the right tags out to GA4. More often than not, depending on what cookie banner and things you're using, more often than not, it should work just from the integration with the Google and YouTube app straight into Shopify and straight into GA4. But if not, you might need to do some manual tagging, use Tag Manager, or manually tag it through your theme, which you can do. I'm not going to get into that today. We can talk about how to set up GA4 another time. There's so many good guides on it online. So go and check out those guys who have done that. But the thing you're trying to work out is, where do you lose people here? And you want to almost set a benchmark for the web team and say, look, we want to improve every single one of these metrics. We want more people looking at products, more people adding to cart, more people beginning the checkout, and more people completing the checkout. So say lots of people begin checkout, but they don't complete. Go on the website yourself on an incognito browser or a new device, ideally mobile if most of your customers are on mobile. Do it as a customer would and get to that begin checkout and go, what did I not know that I now know? If it's not obvious to you, ask one of your mates down the pub to do it. Say, hey, if I buy a glass of wine, can you use the website and just I was about to use a horrible phrase my dad used to say that I did because I talk too much, but just ask them to verbalize, is the PC word, verbalize all of the things you're thinking out loud whilst using the site. Go. What are they learning? And it's probably something like the taxes, delivery cost, something like that is putting people off when they reach the checkout, or they get there and go, oh my gosh, I live in Canada and you're an American brand in the US and you don't deliver to Canada, so they leave. And so again, there's things you can then do to either cater for the Canadian audience or try and stop targeting the Canadian audience in the first place. Again, look at that data in GA4 by channel. You'll see a very different, well, you might not, but chances are you'll probably find some nuances between PPC, SEO, meta, email, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So you want to look at that and see where are people actually dropping off, and then go and make some changes. Like, and you don't even need to A/B test this because you've got a benchmark of what was it over the last 3, 6, or 12 months. Make some changes and then go, right, we've got more people adding to cart now, and we're getting more checkouts as a result. But now we're getting Now we need to work on how do we go from add to cart to begin checkout. So let's look at the usability and functionality of the site, try and make a change to that. Number 5, I love this one. I love this phrase I use in this, is pop-up rage. Count how many pop-ups and overlays do you actually have on your site. More than one is too many. And that will probably be your cookie banner. I saw a site recently where it was cookie banner, live chat then popped up, and on mobile it took up the whole screen, so I had to close that. Then it said, would I like 10% off if I join the newsletter? I was like, I don't know. I haven't even seen the website yet. And you're asking me if I want 10% off the newsletter. And it's a take it or leave it right now. No, I'm not ready to get 10% off. But if I can't find that banner later, then I'm just going to want my 10% off and probably not buy because you did offer me something and now I can't find it. Or I'm going to change device, you lose the attribution, but you still get the sale, which means you don't get the marketing data you need. So the third one then was like the email banner. Then a big thing popped up saying, spin this magic wheel and we'll give you a discount. It's like, hang on, I just got the discount from the email banner. Why are you now offering me this thing? And then it pops up with something else saying like, 4 people just bought this. And it's like, I don't care. Like, I'm just, that's five pop-ups, genuine website that asked us to come and pitch them last week. And we said, we will come and pitch, but clean that up in the process. So have a look at pop-up rage. How many pop-ups are there? Again, if you look in GA4, look in Shopify Analytics, you can see what percentage of people are on mobile versus desktop. And based on the percentage of people that are on mobile versus desktop, you then want to you then want to try and see if there is a way that you can optimize that experience. So the pop-ups either happen in more of a sequential order, so it's only one at one time, and things only happen, like maybe offer the 10% off when somebody adds the cart. So you can have 10% off if you give us your email address. And the spin the wheel thing, offer that maybe post-purchase. So say, get a discount off your next order, click here to spin the wheel, because that's cheaper than paying Google or Meta to get another order in. So you see sequentially is what I'm saying. So make sure there's the right sequence of user does this, now here's a pop-up, rather than just, you've just landed on the site for the first time and bang, 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 bang. People just leave. And see what happens to your bounce rate. That's a really important metric, which we've got on number 8 anyway, but have a look at what happens to your bounce rate when you clean that up. I love this one, returning customer frequency. So sessions from returning customers, how many users are new versus returning. This data is a bit hard to track because if somebody changes device, doesn't come on the store for a long time, and their cookie expires, or they again change device, or I've seen something and I tell my wife, hey, we should go and buy this product. She then goes on and buys it. You're not always going to have accurate data on this, but have a look at what Shopify Analytics is telling you, and also have a look at what GA4 is telling you for new versus returning visitors, and see what that starts to do. And also by channel, which I'm going to, although this was number 6, I'm going to add this in with number 8 on my list, which is also then the bounce rate from ad channels. Is your targeting wrong? And so 6 and 8, returning customer frequency and the bounce rate from each channel, you want to have a really, really hard think about what you want each channel to do, and let the data do the talking. So actually, if everyone is a repeat purchaser, that's really good on one level. But if you're paying Google Ads, which is one of the things we did find with one of our clients, it's in my list of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to go through in a minute. 8 real examples from some of our clients and some of the people we've pitched to or met recently. You don't want to be paying Google Ads and Meta Ads just to bring in people who are searching your name already and they are existing customers. I'm going to ignite the brand versus non-brand Google Ads fire in a minute, so I'll come on to that. But argument says that if you're emailing people regularly, they'll come in through email. If they remember who you are and have you in the browser, they'll just come back direct. So you want, if direct is lots and lots of new users, you've probably got a tracking problem. So there's things like that I would certainly suggest having a look at. And by mentioning those 2 things, I really have opened Pandora's box. So good luck. Lots and lots to learn. Excuse me, I still got my cold. Cart abandonments, number 7. And then we just got number 9 to go on this list. And we've got the other list. Cart abandonments, abandoned basket revenue attributed to the original source. So one of the issues we find, certainly when we're running Google Ads, we find that lots of people are saying, look, I'm spending 50 or £100,000 a month with you, or dollars, and we're not making enough money back. And we say, well, look, when we did a dramatic increase of budget or something, we also saw a dramatic increase in total and email and direct. So we think that we're bringing people in, but they're actually making the final last click purchase through another channel. So cart abandonments, and then sending what we call abandoned basket emails, which is you got as far as putting your email address in the checkout, but you didn't check out, sending them an email to try and convince them to check out. It's really important that you attribute this back to how people found you in the first place. So if you can see that, okay, 50% of our cart abandonments was Google ads bought them in, or SEO bought them in, or TikTok ads or something bought them in, and then they came through email to actually make the purchase afterwards, then you know you're on to... so I'm getting so many notifications today. My next meeting just said they're on their way. How exciting. So we better wrap this up soon. But yeah, if you see that though you're bringing those people in through paid channels, basically, but then they're using email as their last click, actual conversion point, that's fine. That's an okay journey. But from a tracking point of view, you want to be really, really clear that actually that revenue you got, it says it's through email because of the abandoned basket. It's not actually email. Another channel triggered that in the first place. So again, it's really important to be aware of that. And then the final one on the list of the metrics I think you should be looking at. And again, this isn't the full list. This is just, these are things that have been coming up a lot in the last sort of 3 or 4 months. Product performance based on sales and revenue. So lots of people look at product performance and say, oh, we've only sold 6 of those. I would say to get an enormous CSV file of all product performance. And you want to see things in that, like how many of these products did we buy in and how many did we sell? When we start to look at product performance, rather than what we normally look at is acquisition channel performance and just go, Google ads, we spent 100 grand, we made $1 million back. Great. We got a 10 to 1 ROI target. That's fantastic. When we start to break it down, we say to the client, do you know, 50, and here's a genuine learning, which wasn't actually on the list, but I've just remembered this. It was about 15% of the product sales on PPC we had then sold out. So we'd sold one item. So 15% of all sales were where we'd sold one item of something and it had then sold out. And when we looked then deeper into those products themselves and this big CSV file of products and a bit number crunching on it, we realized a lot of our most profitable products, our highest conversion rate products, and the products we therefore made the highest profit per, POAS profit on ad spend. When we made the best profit on these products, the client would have bought in like 8 of them and then we sold 8. And then you can dig a bit deeper into some of those and go, well, when was that? Okay, it was March 2025 and we haven't had any since. We're like, client, why are you not buying more of these back? And they're like, well, we didn't think it was a bestseller because we only sold 8 of them. And it's like, well, you only stocked 8. Can we get like 30 this time and see if we sell those? And if we sell those, can you get 100 and then we'll sell those? Obviously, this depends on lead time. But the point being is you don't want to end up, if you've got quite a wide and deep product range, you don't want to end up having like 1 or 2 orders here and then 1 or 2 orders here and 1 or 2 orders here, only to find that actually if we'd stocked 100 of those products, we could have made a huge amount of profit selling those products. So combine some of what do we actually spend driving people on ads into that product versus how much stock do we have and how many did we sell. The other way to look at this is download all of your out of stock products and go, how many did we buy? How many did we sell? And what was the time frame between us stocking it or selling our first one and selling our last one? And if it's quite a short time frame, we need more of that stuff, guys. If you're in a bigger, more corporate business and more enterprise grade e-commerce setup, then you're buying a merchandising team. This is gold dust for them. And as marketeers, if you're only stocking stuff on the site that you know is super popular and sells well, your reports are going to look incredible. You're going to look like an absolute genius. So we need to close that loop between what have we got on the shelf, what are we actually selling, therefore what do we need on the shelf, therefore what are we selling, therefore what should we now get on the shelf, to what are we selling, to quantities on the shelf, to what are we selling. It's that constant loop that needs to go round and round and round. My brain works at 1 million miles an hour, so sorry if I haven't explained any of those points very well. I'm going to give you a few, I'm just going to read these out. And I'm not going to comment on them too much because they should be quite self-sufficient. But these are some examples I've been keeping from client meetings. I'm not going to mention any of the clients, but if you spot yourself, then great, we fixed something, or we found something and we fixed it. First one, the About Us page never gets visited on one of our client sites. It's nested between 2 different collections on Shopify in the main nav of the site. So we decided to remove it from the nav and introduce more brand story later in the buying journey. The customer is focused on product at this initial stage. So we need to talk to them about brand in another forum. They're not clicking through to the About Us page, which is quite common. It's the same with wish lists and loads of other functionality on sites. Number 2, when pre-order shows on a page, bounce rate was almost 100% from advertising, and exit rate was nearly 100% from anyone that visited that page. So as soon as somebody saw the phrase pre-order, left the site. I've used this example a few times before. So we relabeled pre-order with in stock, and we just increased the delivery estimate time on it because we're going to have to pre-order it in, then send it on. And by doing that, conversion rate lifted. The revenue actually went up nearly 80%. as a result of doing that, which is incredible. And some of these we've only talked about recently as well, so I don't have the outputs on all of them. Less than 0.5% of users are leaving reviews on an awesome product, amazing brand. So we've then recommended they get a new email template designed up for that. Please leave us a review email that gets sent out by their review partner. 83%, this is number 4, 83% of PPC spend was on brand. I mentioned this earlier. 83% of PPC spend was on brand, not targeting new customers. If you are spending that kind of money on PPC, or that percentage of your budget on PPC, just getting people into your site who are already looking for you. That's what we mean by spent on brand. That's if it was Nick's t-shirt shop, that's people typing in Nick's t-shirt shop to Google, then clicking on an ad and it's costing you money. Now, I'm going to open Pandora's box and just sort of leave it here. If you want me to talk more about this later, because it's been a very controversial topic over the last 20 years of my career in the PPC space. But my vote is you should spend something on brand, but you've got to keep it as lean as possible. And on brand, it should just be bottom of funnel. When somebody's like, I'm coming back to buy that t-shirt that I was looking at on Nick's t-shirt shop, it's like, fine, just show an ad, get them through the cart as quickly and cheaply as on ads. So the ads need to be as cheap as possible, get them through checkout as fast as possible. But spending 83% on this client, far too much, which meant only 17% of their entire ad budget was actually acquiring new customers. We think some of those people would be searching for a t-shirt and going, oh, I've shopped there before, and coming in anyway. So even that 17% isn't completely on new customers. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I should have numbered these, idiot. Number 5, over-reliant on Google channels. So one of our clients, 75% of their revenue and users come from PPC and SEO, which is just Google. And the rest was direct. So people coming back. The problem with that is you are so over-reliant on search. I mean, obviously, we've done a good job growing those 2 channels for this client, but diversify your risk. Spend some money on Meta. We need to nail Meta and get Meta working. We need TikTok to be doing something. Email is non-existent for that client. Yet they've got so many products that anything somebody had bought, there is another product on the site they could have bought with it, or they could have bought afterwards. So again, massive amount of work to be doing there on email. They should be investing in email from that. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, orders per customer. Only 5% of these customers for one of our clients had ordered twice. Sorry, this was a pitch we did. Only 5% of the customers for this brand had ordered twice. 95% of people had only bought once. It's just revenue left on the table. It's like saying no when someone says, here's your change, sir. And you say, no, I don't want my change. There's much bigger and better than change. And then when we got to, so that's only 5% have ordered twice or more. Only 5 or more orders for this brand didn't even register as a percentage. And they're investing all this money in Google Ads with us and stuff, which is great, but we can be so much more aggressive and spend so much more money and make less profit but higher volume if we're getting those customers doing repeat orders, buy more stuff from us. Email is just the key here. We had Brian on the show from Saguna a week or 2 ago talking about AI within email. Like, it's never been so easy to make some incredible emails and get some incredible email content out there. You need to set a target and say, right, we're going to do X% of our revenue is going to come from repeat orders from email, and just go for it. What do we say? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Number 7 out of 8. If we remember 8, I can just say 8 on the next point. Number 7, Bing only had 5% of total budget, and it was currently limited. We could spend more on Bing. 95% spent on Google ads, 5% spent on Bing ads. They're both search engines. They both run shopping. They both have Performance Max. And also, I found this out a few months ago. The guy who invented Performance Max on Google now works at Bing and is doing all the things he wanted to do with Performance Max on Bing that Google said no to. Bing are going for it. You should be trying stuff on Bing. We can get vouchers for Bing as well. So if you want to spend some money, you basically, it's like if you spend, I think it's up to, it's either $5,000 or $10,000, you get the same back in free credit. So we're literally getting whatever you spend, you get that back. And I think there's also a multiple going on at the moment as well. So if you want to try Bing, give us a shout. We'd be very interested to try and get you set up on Bing. We also work with an intermediary agency that are direct agency with Bing. They don't manage accounts. They just support agencies like us who do manage the accounts. So come talk about Bing. The thing with Bing here, though, is it only had 5% of total budget and it was currently limited. But it delivered 5 times the ROI that Google did. So it was like, we just need to allocate more money over to Bing. Nice and simple. Final point, let's say 8. We're going to go with 8. Number 8, business customer retention So this particular client was on a subscription. Business customers, they stay on average for 6 years on a subscription. Consumers average 6 months. By 12 months, 95% of consumers had left and stopped their subscriptions. So at 12 months, only 5% of consumers still going, but business customers on average 6 years. So we're getting, I did the maths earlier. So consumers cost a little bit less, but business customers are worth on average 12 times as much. The cost to acquire a business customer was higher, but not 12 times higher, not even double. And as soon as we looked at that, we agreed with the client, your ROI now is going to drop. So say it was 8-1, it's now going to be 6-1, but we're only going to be targeting those business customers because we get 6 years of monthly subscription revenue from them. Again, let the numbers do the talking. The business starts to scale itself. I hope you've enjoyed today. Back on Friday with another interview with a guest. Go and check out Growth Summit. Probably also going to mention it for a little while unless something exciting happens. Thanks for tuning in. Hope it's been useful. If you've got any questions, send us an email, hello@winningwithshopify.com. If you want to sponsor the show, speak at Growth Summit. Growth Summit? That's not the name. If you want to speak at Growth Vault or sponsor Growth Vault or get involved in any other way with all the fun stuff we're doing, again, send us an email, hello@winningwithshopify.com. I've been Nick. You've been great. Thanks for tuning in. See you all next time.